that is in respect of the Assin North by-election that has become necessary because of the Supreme Court's ruling that has declared the NP as his election as null and void, and that he was not qualified because he owed allegiance to a country other than Ghana at the time of his nomination, not at the time of his election. At the time of election, he had received this renunciation certificate from Canada, and so he didn't have a dual citizen problem. But at the time of the nomination, he didn't have a certificate confirming that he had renounced. Therefore, he was not qualified. My guest still here with me, Gary Nimakumafo, Director, Legal Affairs, New Patriotic Party. Godwin Eduji Temeklo is Legal and Communications Team Member of the National Democratic Congress. On the phone, on Zoom, is Kofi Bentil, lawyer and Senior Vice President, Imani Africa. We are joined also by Dr. Srebo Kwako, Director, Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission. I begin with Eduji Temeklo. So when the complaint was first made, we heard it from, is it Sami Jemfi, and the Electoral Commission reacted to it. First of all, do you think that this was well thought through before the suggestion was made that one of the candidates in the primaries for the NPP to contest the elections, and that person actually won in the end, his votes were being transferred from one other constituency to that constituency, and that was some fraud that was going on?
So you premised the question by asking whether it was well thought through. Yes, it is. It was well thought through. If you look at the release from my learned friend, our National Communication Officer, Sami Jemfi, he premised the conversation on Regulation 22 of CI 127. Now, CI 127 is the law that governs the conduct of either presidential or parliamentary election, the actual conduct. Now, a careful reading of Regulation 22 of CI 47 clearly...
No, you are not in court. Say CI 47.
CI 127, sorry, 127.
That's okay, it's expected.
Yes, it's expected, I use the 47 more. CI 127. And in 127, Regulation 22, if you come to sub-regulation 4, it says that an application under sub-regulation 1 shall be set out in Form 3 of the schedule and shall be made, A, no less than 42 days before the last day of nomination to the constituency where the applicant resides and where the application relates to a nomination. Or, then it goes, no less than 42 days before the election day to the constituency where the applicant resides and where the applicant relates to voting. Two different scenarios. So the National Communication Officer of the NDC has said, look, the information available to us at that time, right, was that there was an attempt to cause to be transferred the votes of the said Charles Sopoku. And what the Electoral Commission, even today, has never disputed is the fact that Charles is a registered voter in Takwa in Swayem. So we said, look, if he's a registered voter in Takwa and Swayem, then this is what your own regulation 22, 1, 2, and 3 says. So he needs 42 days in order to do that. But we know that we are in a by-election, and the by-election is later for 27th. So as far as Regulation 22 and its requirements are concerned, you cannot do a transfer. That was the point we made. Nothing more.
But the suggestion,
yes,
if we are once again being faithful to,
absolutely,
to your text, the suggestion was that this Charles Sopoku guy was not qualified, and that if his votes was not transferred to this constituency, he could not be qualified to contest elections there.
Okay.
That was the impression. And that he was being sort of, a fraud was going to happen so that he will qualify to stand for elections there.
No, because as far as we're concerned, Regulation 22 is clear that to do the transfer, you need to apply. The application, you need to do that once a nomination is concerned within 42 days. Right. And from the computation or reckoning of time, there's no way you can meet that 42 days requirement. And so we put it out. The Electoral Commission now comes and says, yes, we recognize the import of Regulation 22, but except to say that, your candidate in the Kumewu by-election was also not a registered voter, but we allowed him. But we said, if that is the state of the law, it is either you are willing to comply or the law provides an exception and that you are operating. Then they raise the conversation that, look, they are dealing with Article 94, requirements on eligibility. And so their focus is on 94. In any case, CI 127 is subsidiary. We believe that the electoral laws of this country are not only limited to the Constitution. The CI, the acts, are to freshen it up. So at this point, if there are real legal matters to be addressed, deal with it. But where you want to set your own question and say, look, in any case, in Same's commentary, he never raised the issue of Article 94.
Okay.
For you to suggest that he said the limitations provided in 94 are close-end. Okay. No.
So Gary, from where you sit, of course, the NPP was also accused that you are trying to do something wrong there. From where you sit, was this an unnecessary and what the EC calls a baseless, thing that the NDC had to do?
I mean, you know how my brother Tamaklo was sweating when you put the question to him. And any time he's sweating, because of my closeness to him and me knowing his fidelity to the law, I know that he's sweating.
Oh, how can you say that? I'm very cold.
Trust me, this comment or this statement was needless, it was unwarranted, it was baseless, it has no force of law. It was very, very empty. In the first place, there was no request for transfer. You see, if you are putting a request for transfer, they can kick in Regulation 22 as you are alluding to. There was no request for transfer from Takwa Soyem to Assin North. That is the first point. So that regulation falls flat on its face. Number two, the Constitution, Article 94, 1A. And the 1A, because I was saying that he was sweating, because 1A is Tabaklo's most lovely article in the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because of ex parte Senator Admiral Rollins' case.
He used that to rescue Senator.
Yes, yes, at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
You see...
And you were involved, the two of you did.
He was the plaintiff's lawyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the thing is, when he's hot, and then, the next day he's happy, now one day you're happy.
I don't understand you.
Okay, so say no.
Please go ahead and make your comments.
1A is very clear. A citizen of Ghana, registered voter, 21 years of age, 3 criteria. It doesn't say that you have to be a registered voter in a particular constituency of Ghana.
But the CI...
No, wait. Let me break it down.
Okay.
Registered voter, citizen of Ghana, 21 years. 3 main criteria. And then additional criteria if, for instance, you hail from there, or you live there, or 5 years out of 10 years preceding the elections, that one too is additional criteria. The CI, which the EC does, Person 51, is only to give the EC the power to give an elaborate regulations to do the elections. Now, the EC cannot and has not, and these are the words, the EC has not and they cannot make regulations that will go and above the Constitution. Sorry, the Constitution, 94. So the EC has not going to put regulations to say that, you must be a citizen of Ghana, registered voter in a particular constituency or 21 years old. It hasn't done that. So this whole thing was a brouhaha for nothing. For nothing. The whole thing is that they wanted their voice to be heard. The point is very clear. the point is very clear. What they brought out there, to me, it was much ado about nothing. There's no request for transfer. The gentleman is qualified, he's eligible, as long
whether
as
or not his vote is transferred.
That is all. The only caveat, if he doesn't transfer before the actual elections, he can't vote for himself.
That's right.
But he's a citizen of Ghana, registered voter.
But Senior, you see the scenario.
Registered voter, 21 years of age. He hails from there, he lives there, whatever it is, he is qualified, he's eligible. There's no constitutional requirement that says that you must be a registered voter in the constituency to enable you qualify or make you eligible.
No, but you see,
right. So hold on briefly, and let me go to Dr. Sribo Kweku. Doc, thank you very much for making time to join us. And you issued your reaction, and some people in the public have not been happy at all with you for certain, words that you use and expressions that you use in your reaction. But let's get to the substance. The substance is that there was no application whatsoever to you, the Electoral Commission, to transfer anybody's vote from one place to the other. And if that was made, you couldn't do it because the timelines did not favor such an application, correct?
Correct. So, something.
Yes.
Good morning in regards to your colleague on the platform. But first, I have to charge you for not listening for me for a long time.
I'll do so. Please forgive me. I'll do so.
But I think that there are three issues that I want to raise that came from some MP's letter. The first one is that there's an application for us to first transfer. And I don't know whether Sami has it. But as of now, the Electoral Commission has not received any application for transfer. So that point is moot. The second point is that the candidate is not qualified and we want to do the transfer for him to qualify. And if you look at Article 91 and all the laws, the CR, whatever, there's nothing in the law that says that the person should be a registered voter in the constituency. That's why we even gave an example of they themselves submitting a candidate for the Kumawu election, which was just about 2 weeks ago, and the person too was not a registered voter. So first, and so that is another issue which is also not in for discussion because there's no agreement about that one. So if we put the two together, then the accusation that we were colluding with the NPP to file an unqualified candidate is also not an issue. So unless maybe it's a different political interpretation, but I really believe that this is a simple English that when we read it, that's the way we do it. And I also want to put on record that since 1992, we have had more than 30 by-elections. We have never transferred any voter for by-elections. So the record, the president wants to tell you that it's something that has not been done before. So I don't know why it should become an argument. So the Electoral Commission has not done anything wrong. The Electoral Commission that does not intend to do anything wrong, and the Electoral Commission will continue to uphold the Constitution and the laws of Ghana to do our work. That is exactly what we are trying to put across.
But they seem to point out a substantive issue as far as your regulations are concerned. Yeah. And it will appear that the regulations and what you require are inconsistent with the provision of the Constitution that you are now referring to and telling the whole world that you don't actually need to be a voter in the constituency to be able to stand for elections there.
Yeah, something. If the CR they are referring to, we have process on transfer. And you and I will know that every voter will want to vote for himself or herself. So there's a clause that allows you to transfer your vote so that you can vote for yourself if one you are filing nomination. And there's a clause that allows people to also transfer their vote so they can vote for a candidate of their choice. So the laws there are only facilitating the possibility of a candidate voting for himself, but not for contesting. So that we don't see any conflict between the CI and the Constitution. In any case, if there was to be a conflict, the supremacy of the Constitution will prevail. But it is there. That's what I'm saying, that since 92, we have never effected any transfer for nomination for by-elections or even to vote. So why are we also not saying that people should also be given opportunity to transfer so they can vote for the by-election? Because of the cost of 42 days. It used to be 30 days. It's now 42 days. So there's nothing wrong with the Constitution. There's nothing wrong with the CR 127. So that is the stand of the Commission.
All right.
And we don't intend taking sides in any election. We are professionals and we abide by the laws of country.
Right. Now, very quickly, what do you say to those who say you could have denied the allegation without using certain expressions like it's a figment of the imagination of the National Communication Officer, among others? What do you say to those?
I don't know whether you have read the first and the second allegations by my younger brother, Samija. So we, more or less, it is one way that we are taking for you. We are just trying to say that those words and the rest, they don't come into play when we are speaking to the party. So I don't think we're only using them to explain that those words that you use are needless.
Okay. But so those who take an exception to that, what do you say? That you mention him specific, that's fine. But you say that, you know, he has to exercise some maturity and decorum and, you know, deal with truth in discussions, among other things. And you don't mention him alone, but his party as well, that they are up to their usual stuff.
Something, you see, I have always never been comfortable with where when the party is in power, he's in bed with the electoral commission. When the party goes out of power, they become antagonistic to the commission. I think it's high time we do away with that. If the electoral commission is doing something which is not good, nobody says that it should not be said. We should come out and we all say that this one is wrong. We all agree with that. Right. Whenever a party goes into position, the electoral commission is a criminal institution. I think we should stop those things and emphasize on what the laws are saying. If equality is being perpetuated, we fight that instead of always.
With the benefit of time, we know that it happens all the time. Like as it is now, the NPP is in power, and some of our friends in the NPP, because it is you are in government, you deal with the matter. So we have to criticize the things that government is doing. And then they will take it on your person. They say, oh, something is doing this, he doesn't like us. Well, I don't have to like you. Now, wait. The other group may be happy about everything you are doing because it is about government you are criticizing. Just wait if the tables turn. Then it turns the other way around. The NDC, if they are in power, they don't want you to say certain things. They don't want you to do certain things. But what is being said is that you are a public office. You know, so you should live above and rise above replying them, you know, in same measure if you feel that they have said certain things which they don't have to say. You don't agree with the benefit of time. You don't agree that you could have said what you said a lot better.
That is the position of the commission, that we were just giving back his own words to him. We don't mean to insult him. But he said that those words that were being used are needless. Okay. Just to also to establish that you have not committed any crime. Something is also, I agree with what you are saying, that when they are in opposition, they criticize everything. But it's the right thing to do that. If you are in democracy, it does not mean that you should not be preaching the party. Truth is always the truth. No matter how you start to preach it, it can never be the truth. So right. And you know, when you are also in the position, a lot of people will give you information. People will want to be seen that they are working for you and give you information. Like one of my interviews, I said that Sammy was giving wrong. But the poll he was giving was completely wrong. So when you have said something and you have come out to explain, it's the better you agree that maybe I was giving the wrong information.
Thank you. Let me see if I can get just a minute of your response to this. The Youth Bridge Foundation, is that their name? Yes, the Youth Bridge Foundation. They issued a press statement and said you have been doing something that is wrong. You go on by-elections and you don't take time to mop up people who have turned 18 since 2020 and are qualified to register to vote. You don't make provision for them to register so they can participate in the elections. What do you say about that? They issued a statement, they say you should do that.
There's no way you can do mop up for by-election because the law does not allow them. The law is clear that if you want to participate in an election, you should have registered not less than 60 days. Not less than 50 days. So by-elections are just 30 days. If you are registered, you can be part of the election. So you cannot be registered for by-election.
Really?
Yes. The law says that once
but you are supposed to be doing continuous registration. So they must be given the opportunity to register so they can participate. That's what they are saying.
Yes, and we know we have put in place mechanism to do that. So immediately the CR is passed, we will have to continue registration.
They haven't started that one.
All right. Thank you very much. Dr. Sribo Kweku is Director of Elections at the Electoral Commission. And let's get Kofi Bento in some 2 minutes, what he will have to say about this banter that has come up and the way the Electoral Commission has had to respond to it. Yes, Kofi. Hello, Kofi Bento.
You made your last handle. DC, Assin North.
Hello, Kofi. Yes, Kofi, let's hear you.
Good. I made my notes before you made your last point, and I was going to take a different turn to all of this. These issues of transfer, mopping up, and continuous registration, etc., will never be solved by the EC. Because over our interaction as Imani with the EC has seen it as a loss of their power. It will be solved by the national identification system. And we are long away from where it is possible. Now, if we are using the national ID as is effectively our identification for the purpose of election, and it takes just a little tweak to have that done, then you can actually go and transfer your vote from one place to the other, and over the period of 6 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, it will be effective. Over that period, it can be reviewed and made effective. That way, we don't have all this problem of mopping up, transferring votes, continuous registration, then the EC can focus on actual election. We see that the EC is resistant to this move, which is inevitable. So I say, look, let's not leave it to the EC to do these things. Let's figure out a way to force the EC to accept that the national ID system is a better system for identifying who will be, who is qualified to be, a voter or not. Then on the issue of public officers, I think it's very important. I don't condone people using the wrong language on public officials, but something you are right, we should emphasize that citizens are citizens. Public officials are public officials. You don't have any right to throw back their words at them. If you can't handle public office, leave. But if you're addressing the public, address them with decorum. Our taxes pay you. They should know that.
Thank you, Kofi Bento. And let me share this with you. It's from Nana Ej Bafo, a lawyer for Charles Bissiu, and he says, this is his reaction to the comments that have come up. He says, I never said my client will not report to the OSP simpliciter. Note that. I never said my client will not report to the OSP simpliciter as being alleged. Evans Mensah, who interviewed me, asked if my client, being a wanted man, will turn himself in. My response against the backdrop that we were speaking about an order which my client had not been served with was no, he will not turn himself in. I was also quick to add that the order was improperly procured, and so we will take steps to cure that impropriety. It's important. I am not taken out of context and condemned in my absence. Audio Terem Patem, thank you very much. Natural Justice Rule, we have given you that opportunity. As always, my outfit is by Haberos Couture. You can find them at Ajiringano Gates. You can call them on 0200 84 1988. God willing, tomorrow on my weekly legal clinic, please join me at 2 p.m. We are continuing with giving you tips so that you can avoid being scammed. Cyber scams have become very pervasive these days. So we are hosting Dr. Albert Nchibwe-Siakon, Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Ransford Nana Addo Jr., who is Fraud, Security and Crime Investigation Specialist, and Yao Ansu Jiabo, who is a cybersecurity expert based in the United States of America. Thank you all very much. And thank you to my guests.
We didn't get a last bite.
Thank you to my guests.
No, I think we felt that even for our learned friend, we wanted him to know that we're just concerned.
Right.
That these comments were made public. And he
up.
had clarified the issue.
Right, our time's up. Gary, forgive me. Sorry.
It's all right.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. I'm Samson Ladia Nyanini.